Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is a terrific remastering of the 2012 classic, providing new examples of how to refresh the gameplay experience by providing increased NPC count, better visuals, and of course, new gameplay mechanics. You can finally double or assassinate, whistles have been added, and there's improvement in the UI. Overall, those who've played the original Assassin's Creed 3 will find more reasons to return to this classic adventure while giving newcomers to the franchise a chance to experience how the original adventure ended and the new set of games began. So first, let's discuss all the enhancements with Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. First off, of course, visual and frame rate improvements have been made. The game looks terrific with added touches to the graphical detail, the atmosphere, character models, etc. Everything that you expect from an HD remake is here, and it does look significantly better than the original game. In addition, Ubisoft's developers have gone an extra mile when restructuring the game. For example, you can now perform double assassinations, you can whistle behind cover and inside cover, there's free aiming, and of course the UI has been dramatically improved for both Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation HD. So it is a lot of things that have been touched on and improved on far beyond just the graphical updates, which someone who has played the original Assassin's Creed 3 will appreciate. I didn't play the original Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation on a PlayStation Vita, so I can't attest of how much the new version has changed from the original, but it is frankly very well. But the free aiming is a definite welcome addition, especially double assassinations, which makes a lot of the missions a little easier. Now, those who started playing Assassin's Creed as early as Assassin's Creed Origins may need to learn some new tactics because this is an older version of the game and a lot of modern conceptions have not been implemented here. For example, climbing is returned to its original system where you have to go to specific areas within the map in order to climb areas. For example, you can't climb straight up cliffs anymore. You have to go to a specific ridge and climb over a set path, which wouldn't be much of an issue for veteran Assassin's Creed players, but those who've just started playing the series may have issue with this. Another thing is that the game does not feature an RPG system. Instead, everything is on a level playing ground. Because of this, combat is a lot easier. It focuses more on auto combos and chaining together attacks. You can attack one enemy and then chain an instant kill to another enemy. There are different types of enemies, such as very brutish guards who can immediately dodge and attack, even counter your instant kill attacks. But this was a system that was very well used within older Assassin's Creed games before the RPG system was introduced in Assassin's Creed Origins. For those who are unfamiliar with Assassin's Creed 3 and are diving right into this adventure, this is the end of Desmond Miles' journey. Desmond, along with the remaining high-ranking Assassin Brotherhood members, this includes Rebecca, Sean, and his father, must locate power sources and a key in order to activate the first civilization device that may save them. Unfortunately, the key is hidden, and the only one who knows the location is the Kenway family, who is fortunately related to Desmond. Desmond must once again dive back into the Animus and live Connor's life in order to find where this key is located. Connor is a Native American who lived during the American Revolution and played a huge part during the war. His objective was to intentionally protect his people who were being ransacked by both the Patriots and the Loyalists, but Connor has always been a misunderstood character. For the most part, the character was heavily compared to Ezio Auditore, who was much more popular. But after playing through Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, I gained a new appreciation for Connor. He was a character who was constantly trying to see the best in life, but was somewhat traumatized at a young age because he saw his mother's death. Because of this, he trained to become an assassin in order to protect his people, but he was constantly being pulled between two different directions, being loyal to the assassins while also trying to protect his people. He's a very traumatized character because he showcases his emotional response in highly aggressive motives, such as killing people in very aggressive means. So in a way, I found that Connor was a very misunderstood character, someone that I heavily criticized as being one of the weakest Assassin's Creed character to becoming one of my favorites. It's also noted that in Assassin's Creed 3, we do get to see the Templars in a brand new light. In previous games, they were shown as just evil characters who wanted to enslave everyone. but in Assassin's Creed 3 we finally get to see how they developed and why they're not so much different from the Assassins. So if you played through Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins, Assassin's Creed 3 should be a game that you try out at least, because the title does showcase the primary enemy within the Assassin's Creed universe as a different type of enemy. Not someone bounded by evil intentions, but characters with simple different ideologies that contrast with the Assassin Order. While Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered does offer a lot of noticeable updates, not only visually but mechanically, and does give players like myself a refreshing take on Connor's life and narrative, it also suffers from a lot of issues. Most of them existed when the game first came out in 2012. You see, problems that existed within the original game are still here, such as that infamous glowing house and the clip-in ocean waves when you're playing as Haytham Kenway in the beginning of the game. It's extremely strange to see these problems still exist within the game despite all the visual updates that are within the game. In addition, I noticed that a constant issue within the game's AI. Often they can see you from massive amounts of distances, and other times they can't see you within 2 feet in front of them. I mean, just look at this. That was just crazy. One annoying issue that I hoped that they would have put into this game was the ability to fast travel between synchronization points. For those who are unaware, synchronization points are high-level areas that you access, and then you get an overview of the entire map. And you can't fast travel between these. Instead, you have to use underground tunnels again, which was incredibly annoying, considering that in some of the maps you have to travel large distances in order to get all the collectibles such as feathers, treasure chests, and other collectible items. The ability to fast travel between synchronization points would have been a welcome addition and something that should be a standard in all Assassin's Creed games. Now, the Remastered Edition doesn't include any new content, but it does include the entire DLC campaign, The Tyranny of King Washington, which is an interesting alternative to the actual game, which showcases King Washington, or George Washington in this case, going mad with power with an apple of Eden and Connor trying to stop him. It's a very good campaign in a way that it's fun and it uses a lot of supernatural things to try and justify Connor's new powers. So it's a fun distraction, but don't expect anything substantially new with that. Everything that was in the core campaign, such as free aiming, whistling, double assassinations, is also here. Overall, I was satisfied with Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. With more HD remakes just updating the visuals and doing the bare minimum, I welcome the idea that the developers went the extra mile to include things like whistling, double assassinations, and other mechanic updates that players have been demanding for a while now, so it's much more fully fleshed out than the original game. Now, you don't just only get access to Connor's adventure, you also get access to Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation HD, which is a remake of the PS3 version, which was a remake of the PS Vita version that launched a while back. Starring Aveline Gupta, she's a high-level aristocrat who lives in New Orleans, with her primary goal being to rescue slaves and help them escape north. To do this, she dons multiple outfits in order to infiltrate plantations while also maintaining her cover. You have 3 outfits to choose from. The High Lady outfit, which allows her to disguise herself and she's not as noticed by guards. She has the Slave outfit, which allows her to infiltrate plantations. And of course, she has the Assassin outfit, which gives her a high level of mobility and access to all her weapons. Each outfit has its own strengths and weaknesses. The High Lady outfit lacks the mobility of the other two. The Slave outfit allows her to be more discreet in plantations but lacks the weaponry. And her Assassin outfit comes with an instant notoriety gauge, regardless of what status you start in. Assassin's Creed Liberation is a little easier than any of the other Assassin's Creed games. It still comes with the optional full synchronization options, but with the exception of 2 missions that come later on in the game, getting a full synchronization in 90% of the game is relatively easy. In addition, the guards, even if you're wearing the Assassin outfit with full notoriety, will give Aveline a pass most of the time. They're very nearsighted and rarely offer much of a challenge. The narrative also has a a bunch of issues. For example, the story is very short and not as fleshed out. Most of the characters are in the story and then immediately tossed aside almost immediately. With the exception of Aveline, who gets most of the screen time because she's the protagonist, all the other characters are mostly tossed to the end until they're needed once again. Not any of them are fully fleshed out, and most of the story is very predictable. Unless you're a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan, you won't get the full gravity of the story, as the narrative is told directly towards Assassin's Creed fans. You're expected to know a lot of information, and virtually nothing is really explained, which isn't a bad thing, I understand. This is the third game in the series, well, third numbered game in the series, but nevertheless, it would have been welcoming to have some sort of context. The voice acting, on the other hand, is serviceable, but what is truly shocking is the soundtrack. It's surprisingly well done, and one of my favorite original soundtracks from the Assassin's Creed franchise. The game does look good for an HD remaster of a handheld port that was ported to a PlayStation 3 then ported to an Xbox One. I can't really argue against the frame rate. It was consistent, the graphics looked alright, there was nothing truly outstanding about it. I will say that the game did definitely improve on the double assassinations and, of course, the free aim, in which made killing targets much easier. I especially liked double assassinations because it was much well executed here than it was in Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered for some reason. But like Connor's adventure, there are certain issues within the game. There were graphical problems within the title. While they were really rare, not as frequent as in Connor's adventure, they were noticeable. Another thing is that the load times between menus was surprisingly long, especially when you're going from one area to another. Considering that this was a port of a portable game, I did not understand why it took so much longer for menus to load than it did in Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. So that was something that was a bit strange. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered checks all the boxes that are necessary for an HD remake. It has all the visual updates, increased frame rate, but the graphical issues that still plague this game are a bit strange. I would assume that these would have been resolved with this new updated version, but I'm wrong. The addition of double assassinations, whistling, and UI updates are all welcome additions, and I hope that more HD remakes commit to these types of changes. I did wish that they fixed the graphical issues and the game was a bit more stable, but these are tiny complaints for what is an otherwise incredible HD remake. I would highly recommend it to any Assassin's Creed fan or people who want to revisit Assassin's Creed 3 once again.
Post to signify its start. When the threat is ended, the hatchet is removed.
You could have used a tree.